Hello, 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 everyone out there. I'm your host, Terrence Cummins. We are doing this once again. Uh, the Tupelo Music Academy podcast tonight. We are so excited to have uh, a very good friend of mine, very talented musician, producer, and just incredible talent. And we're going to get all into that a little later. But before we do, let's get into a little housekeeping things. This weekend, we always have lessons over the weekends at the Tupelo Music Academy. And with those lessons, this weekend we're having an open house. Now, we're not letting gobs of people come in, but we are allowing a few parents who are interested in learning music lessons, bass, guitar, drums, piano, and the different band instruments. If you're interested, from 10 to 11, we are having an open house. Between 10 and 11, open house. This gives you an opportunity to come around and see if this is something that you'd like to do. I know with me learning music, I took lessons, I was in band, and I did church. So I did a trifecta in learning how to play music. So this is all in one. You get an opportunity to meet teachers and see how the classes are. And I know on Tuesday night we had our TMA Live where we went on Facebook and we were able to give our parents and future students an opportunity to see if they like it, see if they're interested in music lessons, see if they're interested in just expanding on their music in general. And this gives us an opportunity to do that. So this Saturday from 10 to 11, we are located at 839 Shell Street, where it is my home church, the Sky's the Limit Church. And like I said, we're not taking a lot of people in at one time, but if you'd like to come by and you're interested, you can go to the Tupelo Music Academy Facebook page, or you can hit us up on info@Tupelo Music Academy, and we can set up a time for you to come in. Okay? All right. So with that, that is the open house, and today is also another special day, and I didn't want to get past the day without talking on this. We have men and women who have served our country and served it well, and we want to honor the veterans and just tell them we thank them for their service, thank them for just doing what they've done. I've had I put a post up today of my grandfather. I know my Uncle James is a part of that, and my brother-in-law, Anthony Mitchell, along with with cousins and other family members who are part of the military. So we definitely thank you for your service. Today was Veterans Day. I was telling my wife, I said, normally I get a call from a school to play, but I forgot with everything with COVID and protocols, they actually did Veterans Day online with my son's school. So things are changing, and that's why we are doing what we're doing tonight. So I wanted to kind of jump into it. We're going to get ready and introduce our guest for tonight. Our guest for tonight is Mr. Josh Myles of Myleshouse Music. Like I said, he's an awesome talent, real good guy, really easy to work with. I've known him a while. Him and his brother, actually knew his father first, but I won't date myself to say how old I am since I know his father, then I know them. But anyway, we have Josh Myles today. He will be our guest, and we're gonna get this started. I think you're gonna get a lot of good information, a lot of information about producing and playing and just being a part of the music business. So without further ado, let's bring in our guest, Mr. Josh Myles. Hey, Josh, if you can, let's see if you can get yourself off of mute. Let's see here. Okay, he's saying you've muted yourself. Can you get your? I've taken you off on my side. You see the mute button, and this is what we get when we do live shows. It's a part of it. I tell you what, go back out and go back in, and then I'll bring you back in.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Okay, here we go. All right, and this is live, so these things do happen. I've seen some of my mentors; they've gone through this. So let's get back over here. We're going to introduce Josh Myles. There we go. Josh, how we
You in
doing?
there?
Yeah,
All right, man. How about you?
good. All right. So, Josh, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us how you got started in music, and then we'll go from there.
Well, I'm from Tupelo, Mississippi. Born and raised. Uh, my family, both sides of my family, is from Clarksdale, Mississippi, down there in the Delta.
Oh yeah.
So, uh, I guess you could say, coming from that place, everybody, pretty much they pick cotton and sang.
Okay.
uh, So coming, I guess when mom and daddy moved up this way, they just kind of kept that going with us, and all of my brothers and sisters, we all sang, and me and my brother play musical instruments. I try to fill around on a couple of them, but
Yeah.
uh, do that, and I got interested in studio gear and production and things like that. So that just brought me to where I am now. And we have Myleshouse Music and I Hear You. Um, and so we do the best we can with music, and we just looking for the best to happen in the future.
Okay. Now I will say, now I'm just a few years older than you, and I actually played with your sister throughout
Mm-hmm.
high school. Me and Jackie, we were in band together. We did Black Voices together. Phenomenal singer,
Oh yeah,
phenomenal singer. Pipes out of the charts.
rough
Uh,
man.
we did How Excellent for 20 years. Everywhere we went, people wanted to hear, "Oh Lord, how excellent!" So, because she blew it out the water, and then I had an opportunity to solo with her back in high school and college. So it was always a good thing. And then later on, I had an opportunity to meet your brother Jamal, and then you. So when you initially started picking up instruments, um, what was, and this is something that I always say, you don't pick the instrument picked you. So
Yeah.
when the instrument picked you, how did you approach it when you first started?
Well, I have to agree with you. I have to agree with you, but I went a different way. So
Okay. Yeah,
I
tell,
picked
tell me.
I picked the drums. And I think
Okay.
most of us start out on the drum. I picked the drum, but the drum
Hmm.
really didn't pick me now. But
Right.
I done decent with them. My brother used to uh, drill me on the drums. He made at least a pocket drum out of me.
Right.
But the bass is really once I picked the bass up, I really wanted to be a guitar player.
Hmm.
But once I picked the bass up, My daddy showed me a few things, and from there it's just like I don't know, a whole universe opened up in my mind, and I would just listen to the radio, listen at cassette tapes at that time, and play the bass, man, and I picked it up from there.
Well, like I said, the you don't pick the instrument picks you. And I think there's a natural flow. I play drums. I enjoy drums. I actually started bongos and congos, you know, back in the day. And then I started playing drums for the choir, which I enjoyed that. I wouldn't know I was a pocket drummer and I knew how to
Yeah,
put accents where it needed to go.
yes, sir.
But ever since I was 7 or 8, I made paper saxophones, folded them up and made paper saxophones. Saxophone picked me. So when you got into the bass and you said something, it opened yourself up. So
Yeah.
in that aspect, so how did you approach practicing? Because this is something that we get all the time. Our students, hey, you need to practice.
Well, first, just me not really knowing or having any formal education of scales and things like that. My
Right.
practice was just listening to a record and really, really putting my ear to it to pick out whatever that bass player is doing. So I was really ear player. I was playing everything by ear, and then later on, as I got in high school and started playing with some of the guys at
Right.
school and whatnot, those guys put me on people like Jaco Pastorius, and that's where I started learning bass exercises and scales and things of that sort.
Okay. Now I know when we were in church, that's the biggest thing because your dad's a pastor, my dad's a pastor, my mom is a musician, and she taught us, but she also encouraged us to learn what music was, because
Yeah.
everybody we would go in them churches and then you say, "What key you in?" And they'll tell you, "Well, I don't know. I just know it sound right."
Hey, that was me.
We had a lot of people do that. So when I started playing saxophone, I knew I couldn't do that because I remember the first, and I told this story once before. Uh, I was just learning how to play, and I was at a church service, and Chris Hatchett was playing, and he said, "Little bro Cummins, I don't know that much about a horn, but I know that don't sound right." And it was because I did. I didn't know the keys. He would call out the key, and I would play the exact key. But for saxophone, that's not the correct way. So once I got in band and learned, I figured it out. So I wanted with practice. Learning is not always knowing the notes, and it's not always knowing how to read music, but it's taking the fundamentals and listening to people and figuring out things. That's practice. So,
Yes, sir.
what name something that you would think is unique to you as far as your approach to music?
Um, I have to say, really, just mainly, I would say my ear for it. I funny that you told that story. I got a bunch of Chris Hatchett stories, and but really, Jorgen Jackson from Gospel Four.
Mm-hmm.
I was probably maybe 14 or 15 maybe, and I had learned to understand music because really coming up, my daddy, somebody may request him to sing a solo or something in church, and he'll
Mm-hmm.
start singing, and I'm on the bass. We don't know the song, and I'm on the bass, and I'm picking notes, trying to just go with him and follow him. And so my daddy, I remember one night he sung, and we didn't do too good behind him. And when we got, in the car riding home, he asked me, "You couldn't hear that note that I sung? When I sung this note, you know how they talk. You supposed to fall down to the second change."
Yeah, yeah, I know all about that.
He said, you got to start listening. You got to start listening. And so I had began, I learned to just listen or listen to what's going on beforehand to, I guess, sort of calculate what's getting ready to happen next. But just to add on with that story that you just told, that's how I learned my notes. I asked Jay, we were at a program. I asked him to play with me, and I told him what song we were gonna do. He was saying, "What song? What key you gonna do it in?" And I had my bass. I said, "I don't know. This key right here. Ding ding
Yeah,
ding ding
yeah,
ding."
yeah,
He said,
yeah.
"Man, no, no, man, that's a shame. Now you you need to learn your notes now." And he
Right.
came. He came the next day or that next week, picked me up, took me to the studio, and drew a bass out on a sheet of paper and
Okay.
taught me my notes. He taught me my notes.
Who was that now?
And Jorgen Jackson, Jay
Okay.
Jackson from the Gospel Folk. And that
Okay.
really that kind of helped me because we went to Wardell Studio, so that
Mm-hmm.
kind of eased me on into more production stuff as well. So
Okay. Yeah, I won't get into any Dr. P stories, but I know them rides when you did not hit hit right on the drums or the key. She would tell you that didn't sound right, and y'all didn't come with it. And but you know what? It made me and my brothers tight.
yes,
Uh,
sir.
it pushed us uh, to be better, and I loved it so much. I was determined to not come in there and sound a mess.
Yes, sir.
Because you want it to sound good. It's just like I do talk to some of my athlete friends. I said I'm competitive in music. When I get on stage, I don't want all the guys around me sounding good and then I'm sounding bad.
Yes,
So
sir.
it takes an opportunity to get into it and practice. Now you made that transition. You're learning music, and with music there is so many avenues. With me, music, and then music education, and then music business and music marketing took these different levels. So you jumped into production. Uh, Tell a little bit how that got started.
Uh, my cousin Earl Miles was big, awesome producer in Memphis. He cut a lot of those records, and the first time I ever walked in that studio, I said, "Man, I feel like I'm in heaven." And so from
Oh
then
yeah,
on,
yeah.
from then on, I knew that I wanted to uh, work in production studio work in some sort of capacity. And
Mm.
so I asked my daddy to buy me. Um, I think the first program I had was called Acid. Now I'm pretty sure don't
Oh yeah,
nobody.
I know
Don't,
Acid and Fruity
but
Loops.
yes, sir, yes, sir. So I got Acid. I think Acid was like $45. And my daddy told me if I made good on my report card, he was gonna buy me that program.
Oh, I hear you now.
So I was good in school, man. I got that program, and that's where I started. I had a little Radio Shack mic, and then my brother messed around and bought a set of drums, and we were recording drums with two mics. But
Man, man, man. That
that was
is
my start.
uh, the bare knuckles of getting started. Because I know a lot of people just don't want to do uh, unless it's perfect. They don't want to get started. And
Yes, sir.
sometimes, you used to hear this in church all the time about don't despise small beginnings.
Yes,
It's got to
sir.
start. It's got to start somewhere. Um, I know I had a old rickety. Well, I ain't gonna say rickety, but at that time it was an older saxophone, but I was playing it until I went to this wedding, and he wouldn't play for me during the wedding. So my parents said we got to get him a good, better horn. He done got to that point. So but I had to start somewhere. So with most musicians, they want these. I see some of these young musicians want to come in with top of the line. They don't know a key. They don't know fingering positions, nothing. But they got the top of the line instrument. But Sound like a Radio Shack guitar, but you know. So anyway, so from so from production, uh, tell me the steps that you took to elevate.
uh, honestly, I really, in that capacity, I guess it was no real plan to any of that. I just
Mm,
when I say this, when as I got older, I just became more and more. I just wanted to do music all
gotcha.
the time. So
Right.
that was my thing. Like I would be day in and day out. I would be sitting in front of that computer. I'm singing. I'm playing. I'm trying to write something.
Right.
Uh, just trying to put stuff together. So I guess within me doing that every single day, it just uh, I honed that craft and just got better and better as time went on. Just working real hard. And then some people, after a while, some people heard some stuff I did, and uh, trying to think. I would say I'm gonna say that Determined was really the first record I produced. Determined of Tupelo, which is our group.
Yeah,
uh,
I remember the term.
that was the first group I produced, and from there, the quality got better as the years progressed. Because if anybody ever heard the very first thing we put out, it was awful. But as time progressed, we just kept doing it, kept doing it, kept doing it, and we got a very decent quality sound, mix and all. And from there, people begin to call and want to do work. So that's really just ended put me up here where I'm at.
Gotcha.
Talking to
Now,
you.
yeah, well, see, I know I saw your evolution, and I know one time you were working, and then I saw you again. You was like, "Man, I don't let it go. I'm doing this full time," and
Oh
I was
yeah.
really, really excited for you. I was happy because a lot of us around here don't get the opportunity to just like I'm gonna do it unless we move away because a lot of our colleagues have moved away and they're doing it, but here that opportunity doesn't occur. So when you went forward, I was like, I would tell people, hey, holler at him, give him a call, either on the production side or a musician, give him a call. Because I think as a community of musicians, we ought to be able to esteem one another, push one another, and say, hey, this guy's good. Check him out on this. This guy's good. This girl is good. Check her out. Check him out. So, and then I start seeing your social media. So I started seeing all the people, Myleshouse. So especially on TikTok because I live on TikTok now. Just I don't even post. I'm just looking. So I know for a few weeks straight, every time I popped it on, other than my mother, you were the second person to pop on there, and you would have a different guest. So I'm seeing all the different people. Tell just a couple people that you're working with.
well, I have a lot of working relationships with the Mr. George Dean, Keith Wonderboy Johnson, Paul Porter. I actually sing now with the Canton Spirituals, Harvey Watkins, um, Paul Porter, um, Kadarius Price. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a lot. Really, just kind of we all work as kind of family oriented. We work with one another on different projects, different areas, and things like that. So
Okay.
I
Got some heavy hitters there.
just been blessed to be a part of some good stuff and in a
Right.
community with a lot of people.
All right. So if our listeners want to find because your main service right now is the Miles House Studio, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So if
Well,
they
really, the studio is I hear
okay,
you.
I got you. I hear you.
Yes, sir.
All right. So tell them if they're looking you up. Hey, there you go. Brand recognition. You got to put it out there.
Yes, sir.
If they're looking to find you, how can they find you?
Well, You can find my music on any of the social platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, uh, things like that. Uh, the main thing we want, uh, it's more content there on YouTube. I want you to go to youtube.com/Myleshouse Music. That's
There you
Miles
go.
with a Y.
There you go. So I appreciate Mr. Myles for coming out doing this interview with us. We did one years ago at the church uh, with you and uh, and and my boy when y'all had to do a concert down in Haven Acres that night, and y'all came over by the church and with Lamar.
Yep, yep.
And I still got that video, so I'm gonna throw that up. But it way junkier than what that was way. But anyway, Myleshouse Music, I hear you. Check him out. You can always go back. We'll definitely do a replay, and we'll put the comments in the description because you'll be able to see this on the Tupelo Music Academy Facebook page and the Tupelo Music Academy YouTube page, and we'll link his information in the description. This has been a very, very good interview, Mr. Myles. I definitely appreciate your time. And if you're, like I said, if you're looking for production, you can go to Myleshouse. I hear you. Or if you're looking for lessons, or you're looking to gain a little bit more knowledge in your church about live streaming, video work, photography work, you can get with us at Tupelo Music Academy. We do have an announcement coming in Christmas about the MVP program, which is music video and photography. But we'll talk about that later. But if you still want to get your lessons, the information will be in the description after this interview. Mr. Myles, blessings. I appreciate you.
Thank you
And
for having me, man.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got to get you again, especially when you blow up. We got to
All
get
right,
you
man.
again. All right. It's been another one. Y'all be blessed.